thanks. I appreciate it. And it's really interesting to obviously present at a conference like this, but to sit and listen to the other presentations. And the lineup you have for this weekend is outstanding. And really, when I come to these, I always watch a presentation, make notes, and try and take 2 or 3 things that I can bring right back to my team. And each year that I go to them and I present, I watch the other speakers. And it's interesting today I've known Mike Kelly a long time, obviously coached against Derek, Pete, but they throw out something that's unique and I can grab onto and I say, wow, that's really interesting. I didn't think of that. And I add 4 or 5 other things they throw out are similar things to what you might see in my presentation here that reinforce what you're doing as a coach. Some of you know that I'm a big football guy. If I wasn't in hockey, I'd be in football for sure, coaching. I love football. And when I first went to the U.S., I watched college football every weekend because the games are do or die almost every weekend. And one team, when I was in Los Angeles with Jamie, one team that I followed, although they were from away, was the Oregon Ducks. Because when they came in to play USC, I saw this team come in, the Oregon Ducks, and they wore different color uniforms every time they play. The helmets are different, the jersey's different, the color scheme's different. And I just liked the way they played the game. And then it ended up, I went from LA, I went up to Portland and took over the Portland Winterhawks with Travis Green. And we were trying to implement our style of play in Portland. So Chip Kelly was a coach of the Oregon Ducks. So Chip Kelly knew Hubie McDonough, who was a hockey guy in the LA system, and Hubie connected me with Chip. I didn't know it, but Chip was a big hockey guy growing up in the East of the U.S. So I said to Chip, Chip, is there any way I could come down to your practice and just watch what you do with the Ducks? So he invited Kyle Gustafson and myself down 7 years ago to his practice, and they were national championship game 2 or 3 years in a row at that time. So they had great teams. So we went into Chip's office, and he had a big screen TV about that size in his office. He said, here, I'll show you a few clips of our practice yesterday. So he showed us a few clips. Here's what we're going to do today. So we went over a couple things that he was going to do on the field today. And then we started to walk out of his office, which was up top, and we walked down the stairs, and we're heading out onto the field. And he said, Mike, he said, before we go out on the field, one thing I want you to remember. He said, you're going to see a lot of things happening out there. We have 105 players. We have 23 staff. There's going to be a lot of strategy, a lot of tactics, a lot of drills. He said, but remember this, culture beats scheme every day. If you don't have the right culture, it doesn't matter what your talent level is, what your strategy is, culture beats scheme every day. And I was a big believer when I first started coaching in culture. Although it wasn't called culture at that time, I was a big believer in creating what I called the right environment. And Chip Kelly said that. I'll never forget it because I'm a big believer in culture. And so every year in Portland or every year with the teams that I've been with, one thing we talk about as all of us are looking forward to our season starting in 6 or 8 weeks, usually we'll sit down as a staff and we'll talk about our culture first. Then we'll talk about our team. When we talk about our culture, we talk about everything we do within the organization. That's our culture. Okay. And so in Portland, we've developed our 12 pillars, and they are our culture. They're the foundation of our culture. So I'm going to give you an idea first to start this presentation, just what we talk about with culture. Because I think it's important, if you've been with the team for 10 years, or you're just taking over a team right now for this coming season, that you sit down and you develop and script, what do you want your culture to be? So here are, of the 12, I'm going to give you some of the ones that we talk about all the time. Okay. So with these are just a sample. They aren't in any order. One is project positive energy. We all come to the rink every day with an energy tank that's only so full. And we want people that provide energy and don't suck energy. So within our group, anybody who touches our team, we try and inject energy people, both players and staff. We do not want energy vampires, those guys that suck energy from your team. You may have them, but you probably won't have them for very long in organizations. Second, invest in your time at the rink. When you come to the rink, we talk to our players all the time. When you come to the rink, have an objective for every day. Every day you come to the rink, you should have a goal. What's your goal for practice? What's your goal for training? What's your goal for school? What are you trying to get better at today? A lot of players come to the rink just to come to practice. Or their parents drop them off, and you say to them, what are you going to get out of practice today? And they have no idea what they're going to get out of practice today. No idea. Game one, stay in the moment, stay in the game. Talked about a lot on the bench. When things are going on in the ice, it's emotional. Stay in the moment, stay in the game. Don't lose your emotion. Don't get distracted. And it always surprised me when I went to junior, because I'd never coached junior before. I'd gone from the university, national team, NHL, and then to junior. So kind of in a little bit of a reverse order. A lot of junior teams, when I watch them, and young kids' teams, they stand up on the bench. The whole game. They stand up on the bench and they cheer, they bang their sticks, they do all this. I want our guys sitting on the bench. Our guys sit on the bench, and when they come to the bench, they rest and they focus. That's what they do. So you'll see our team, we sit on the bench all the time. But some junior teams, a lot of junior teams in our league, will stand throughout the game. They'll stand through the whole game. Maybe some of your youth teams do as well. So stay in the moment, stay in the game. Next shift focus. That's really key for us. We have 3 rules with our team. When I first went to junior hockey, or probably when I first started coaching, I had way too many rules. Way too many rules. Because as a coach, all you do, if you have a lot of rules, is what do? You end up disciplining those rules. And when I first went to junior, I talked to Travis a lot about this. I said, Travis, let's keep it really simple with our group. I don't want to be a coach and a manager that all I do is monitor our rules and discipline our players. So the number 1 rule we have for our team is dress like a pro, act like a pro. You want to be in the NHL? Dress like a pro, act like a pro. Second rule we have is be on time. Okay? So and the third one is curfews at 11. And those are the 3 rules that we operate under in Portland. But as one of our pillars is dress like a pro, act like a pro. If you want to be an NHL player, learn to be it at the junior level. So how you dress, how you act, is that a reflection of a professional player? Another one we have, and again we have 12, I'm just showing you a couple of them, is enjoy the ride. So you're talking to our players, your junior career is short. It really is. For our guys that come in at 16, they leave at 20. It goes by a snap of the fingers, and all of a sudden they're moving on in their career, hopefully at the professional level, or maybe academically with one of the great Canadian schools, but they're moving on. And that career is short. You need to enjoy it. Yeah, you're going to have your draft year. You may get drafted, you may not. Okay? There's the pressure of performing at the major junior level. The pressure that you could be at a certain age, you could be traded to another team. There's lots of pressure, a lot of things that go on, but you have to enjoy it. Enjoy your teammates, enjoy the environment. So those are some of the pillars that are the foundation of our culture. What are the foundation of your culture? Okay. So if you're taking over a team, script your culture before you take over the team. If you're in the middle of being with the team for several years, reflect on your culture. What is our culture? Do I really like our culture? Do I like where it's at? Now, what I want to do is talk about the hockey side of things. So if I was coming to watch your team play in December of this year, and I watch your team play one game, when I leave the rink, what do I come away with? What's your identity on the ice? What's the identity of your team on the ice? So as a coaching staff, if you're sitting here in July with your staff, and you're scripting how you're going to look on the ice, what do you want that person in the stands to see? If I'm coming in to watch your team play, what do you want me to see? How does your team act? How do they play? How's their emotion? How disciplined are they? How do they sit on the bench? How do they interact with each other? Are they supportive? Are they negative? Are they positive? How does your team look? Okay? That's what we're going to talk about right now. So your team look is made up of three things: systems, principles, and skills. So systems and principles and skills will dictate your identity as a team. The Toronto Maple Leafs have a clear identity under Mike Babcock. The Tampa Bay Lightning have a clear identity. St. Louis has a clear identity. You know, you look at it, like it or not, we don't have to be like any of those teams, but we need to have an identity. So your team needs an identity. And it should not change because you get new players in. I remember when I was in Vancouver, my first NHL job with Mark Crawford and Jack McElhargy, we had an identity. Mark Crawford is a fast-paced energy coach. That's the way he loves to coach. And that's the way we were going to play in Vancouver. Our very first draft, my very first draft as a coach that I ever went to, was in Boston. And Berkey trades to move up to pick Daniel and Henrik Sedin. So I'm thrilled. We move up in the draft, and I'm a young coach working with the Vancouver Canucks, and we picked Daniel and Henrik Sedin. You know, what are they like? I talked to our Swedish guy at the table. I said, what are these guys like? Oh, they're really good players. They're so smart. They've got great skills, but they're not very fast. They're not very fast. I'm thinking like, oh, shoot, like Mark wants to play with speed and pace and tempo and energy. I said, well, how slow are they? And he said, they're pretty slow. He said, they're pretty slow. So we went to Sweden for a training camp the next year, and we had Daniel and Henrik with us. But the way they played the game, the way Henrik and Daniel saw the ice with each other, they played the game so fast, so fast. Like their mental skills allowed them to play the game at a speed that nobody could play at. So we brought them in, and if you, as you heard today, if you practice fast, you will generally tend to play fast. So how we practiced during those years dictated how we played. So your systems and your principles and your skills will become your identity. And some coaches will say to me, well, give me some practice drills. And I'll say, okay, sure, I can provide you with practice drills. But the drills for the skills of the Portland Winterhawks may be different than the skills of the Winnipeg Jets or Austin or any of these teams that you're coaching. Okay? So what we do for our team may not be what you need for your team because you do different things. So what I'm going to talk about is what we do here. Okay? And I'm going to talk about systems very little because systems are what you should be doing right now. You say, okay, I want to have a 1-2-2 forecheck. Great. Now the legwork begins. How do you teach that? And what are the skills that make up? Okay? So I don't know how many of you do this. During the year, so we have systems that we talk about in Portland. We have 8 categories of systems is what we have. And generally what I do in training camp is we do one offensive system and one defensive system every day for 4 days. There's 8. Okay? And then we keep building on it as we move along over the next month. So we do forecheck and we do breakouts. Okay? We do back check, we do attack. We do entries defensively, and we do regroups and transition. Okay? We do defensive zone coverage, we do offensive zone plays. So that's our systems. Those are the 8 areas that we're going to touch on throughout the year. And what we do in training camp is today we're going to do forecheck and breakouts. Day 2, we're going to do back check and attack. And we just lay a framework, just a light framework. So everybody has a little bit of a picture. And then we get into the real details of it. So, as I was getting to, I don't know how many of you do this during the year, but I do this after, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago, it was, I think, November, early December, and we were having a meeting, as we do with our players, and we say, okay, I want you to come up and diagram the forecheck. Okay, John, come up and diagram the forecheck. You know, I want you to show your teammates what is our forechecking system. So John comes up, diagrams the forechecking system. Okay, not bad. Usually their diagrams aren't great, but they get the point across. They get a framework. That year, I said to them, I said, diagram the forechecking system and tell me the most important things you hear us as coaches say about the forecheck for the last 2.5 months. What are the most important things that you hear us say? And we have, under each of these areas, we have core principles that we repeat and we repeat and we repeat. And under the forecheck, as I'll show you, there are 5. And this guy could name 2. He didn't do a bad job diagramming our 1-2-2 pressure forecheck, but he couldn't remember the 5 keys. So what did that mean? As I said to our coaches after the meeting, one, it showed us, hey, that we've got to still coach. We've got to get going here because it's already November, early December, and they don't know all 5. They don't know all 5. So the second thing we have to do is repeat, 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 and get it through. We've got to do a better job, and as I show there, is there's no learning, or there's no coaching taking place if there's no learning. So if he can't name the 5, we have to do a better job as coaches. What do we often do? Oftentimes we'll say as coaches, geez, I can't believe, like, how come that guy can't remember it? We talk about it all the time. Don't you think we do a pretty good job? Oh, yeah, we do a good job. Well, what's wrong with our players? And we look at our players, but you have to take a look. If they are not getting it, you have to do a better job coaching. You have to say to your staff, we have to get that information through somehow, some way, because it's not getting through. Here's what I'm going to talk about now, is I'm going to give you an example of our forecheck and what we harp on our forecheck. So under those points there, these are the things that our players should remember about our forecheck. I don't even care if they remember if it's a 1-2-2 pressure, if it's a 1-2-2 skinny, whatever we want to call it that year for our system. I care if they remember these points. Because if they do these things well, no matter what forechecking system we have, we're fine. We're fine. And so in our principles, with each of our systems, back check, defensive zone coverage, what are the key things you want your players to remember and to be able to repeat? And you better quiz them early in the year and find out if they're getting it. Are they getting the things that is important? Far too many coaches focus on the system. What is the system we're playing? And they do drills for the system rather than for the principles. Okay? So I'll just go through these, and I'm going to show you some video clips so you get an idea of them. So on these video clips, we'll go 2 at a time. So we're going to go hard first man pressure. So what do we want on our forecheck? Okay, if you're our team here, I'm telling you early in training camp, this is the most important thing. We get our first man in quick, and we get on the hands of the defenseman. So our first man here gets in quick, he pressures, and he goes right through the hands of the defenseman. And as you've heard talk about, I think Derek mentioned it, stick in the air drives me insane. And so many guys, especially at the younger levels, kids, they go in on the forecheck and they want to, at hitting levels, deliver the hit. And their stick's in the air. And their stick's to the side. And their stick's over here. I don't care if they get a hit. And if you look at teams in the NHL, I saw a stat in the playoffs. I think Toronto was playing Boston, and Toronto had 7 hits in the first period. 7 hits in the first period. I don't think they care on the forecheck if they get a hit. I care if we get the puck. Because as I say to our players, we're 200 feet from our net. We're 200 feet from our net. We want the puck. We want the puck. Yeah, I'd love you to get a hit. We want to make, especially in playoff series, hits pile up on teams, and they wear teams down, for sure. But that is not the priority. The priority is get in on his hands, get through his hands, and get the puck. So our first guy in the forecheck, get in quick, get through his hands, and get the puck. So we're looking here, number 11 coming in, and we don't have NHL clips here, we have junior clips, but hopefully you can still see, get in hard, quick, and get through the hands, right through the hands. And we say cut the hands off, so we'd like you to take your hip and get your hip and cut his hands right off. Like cut his hands right off of the defenseman. That's a good hitting technique. Drive your hip through his hands as he turns with the puck. And then hopefully your stick, and this is what I look for with all our players, is your stick on the ice and available? Is it taking away a lane? Is it available to pick up the loose puck that you've created? Because if you make the big hit and your stick's in the air and the defenseman could still make a play, then now we're 200 feet from our net and it's coming back at us right away. We've worked hard to get it all that way down the ice and now it's coming back the other way. So here, again on the forecheck, you don't always have to get the hit. This is a pretty good a team here with the Vancouver Giants coming in. Get a stick on the puck, kick it out front, get a shot. Get a stick on the puck, you just watch there. Doesn't go for the hit, good stick, get it on the puck. Young kid, 16-year-old forward, gets in, kicks it out front, you get the shot. Again, young guy, 16-year-old guy, call-up guy, comes in, get in fast. Cut the hands off. Okay. The other thing I like about this clip is everything's in sync. So we've got one, we've got two, we've got over top, we've got in, and we're going to talk about our defense, surfing, gap and strike, whatever you want to call it, which is a little bit new to a lot of teams we've worked on for several years now. But that gives you an overall clip there. Okay, now, first guy when he goes in here, what we want from our second guy, as you saw on the second point there, is we like to get our second guy in there quick before their second guy. So this last clip on the first man, he gets his hit. He's strong in the battle. He's battling, but we'd like our second guy in there quicker. We'd like our second guy in there quicker, and we'd like our third guy to sit in here, sit on the dot. Because what happens, I find now, with so many teams shrinking the zone, especially a team like Everett that shrinks, is your third guy has to tighten up. So now, second man quick, but even your third guy has to tighten up. If he's not close to the pile, their third guy will beat you to the puck. So you've got to get second man quick, but you might even now, we might have to go with third man quick. Okay? So first guy in, see Kiefer Bellows coming in here, gets a stick on him. Second man right here, Skyler comes in, grabs a puck, and then makes a play on the net. So second man quick. If you think the first man's going to get a hit or disrupt the puck, second man quick right away. So our second guy comes in. Same thing here. We're in nice little system here, 1-2-2 pressure, first guy in, second guy quick. Get that puck, get in there, make the play on net. Okay, the next two. And for me, this pressure recover, along with first guy in is again, it's September stuff. They've got to get that down in September. If your first guy goes in and pressures, and he knows that if that puck is moved and it goes anywhere on the ice, what does he do? He recovers. So if you're not pressuring, you're recovering. And if you're recovering, you're looking to pressure. So pressure, recover, pressure, recover, pressure, recover. That is a key to the staple of our forecheck. When you're recovering, what should you do? The mindset I want you to have is two things. Hunt pucks, hunt the pucks from behind, and strip pucks. And we look in games we'll show clips after games of how many strip pucks did we have last night. That means you're skating hard, you're catching a guy from behind, you're lifting a stick, and you're taking the puck and we're going back the other way. So as we're forechecking, we're transitioning to recovery mode and basically almost a slash back check mode, but we've got the pressure recover and we've got hunting pucks from behind. Those are the other two keys on our forecheck. So we're in on the forecheck here. We get two guys in. Our third guy comes down. But the key thing here is, that's fine if you have a team that recovers like that. And we don't always recover like that, but this is a great clip. Both guys skate hard. Both guys reach with their sticks in lanes, even though our third guy was caught. And now they're in a great position right there. Perfect. So pressure recovery. Your pressure, the puck's moved, you recover. Okay, this one here, first guy in. We look good on our forecheck. Okay, watch the guys get above the puck. Now we stay on the puck. So we've got one above, one on the puck. This guy will come above. Now we pressure. So he gets on the puck. He starts to move above. He starts to move above. Okay, now we stay on the puck. Flush the puck. But we're still coming from above. So that pressure recover is key. Okay, in on the forecheck here, a little bit low. You guys are going to say, geez, I don't know if I like this. You're a little bit low there. We are a little bit low, but I like Manic, how hard he pressures from behind. He hunts the puck. So hunt the puck from behind. So on the back check, you hunt pucks all the way. And I know some teams will have, like, do you go to the center and then let the D have them? Do you go to the far blue line, let the D have them? We just say hunt the puck, hunt the puck. And then there's going to be a decision on rush coverage, probably close to our blue line, who has them. But hunt the pucks. Because a lot of times if you say, well, hunt the puck hard from behind to center and then let the D have them, they'll come to the blue line. And then they let up. Get them hunting pucks. Get them hunting pucks, trying to strip pucks from behind. So Manic does a great job coming out of the corner, getting his feet moving, coming across the ice, and his mindset is, I'm going to hunt hard on the puck. I'm going to make it hard for him to make a play. This is a good situation here where we've got the puck on a breakaway. We miss. But what happens after? Strip pucks from behind. So he hustles back, lifts the stick, strips the puck, and makes a play on goal. So it's a great play where we've got the puck. We make the play on net. Now we're on the forecheck or the back check. We strip the puck. We get it back, make a play to the net. How many strip pucks do we have in a game? Our defense pinches on the forecheck here. Blichfeld comes back, lifts the stick, strips the puck, kicks it in transition, and then we get going right up ice. So this clip here, I just want to do as a kind of a preamble to what the next final point on the forecheck is. When you have your guys recovering and everybody's coming back into the play here, what we're going to talk about next in here is what our defense do. And because so many teams, as we've talked about, they cover with their wingers down into here and they flood zones, we sit our defensemen up into here a lot. And we sit them up, but we keep them moving all the time. So we can move. If we get the puck, we're moving and we're available offensively. If we don't have the puck, we're moving. And what we're going to move into now is called a gap and strike. So the last point here is a gap and strike with your defense. And something that's, as coaches, we always evolve. And over the last 5 years with my coaching, the one thing I've changed with our defense is, I'm not a big pinching, I've never liked defensive pinch, where defensemen come down on the boards and they make a big hit and they're trying to keep the puck alive. They're going north, the other guy's going the other way. And if you miss a guy, you miss a puck, your defenseman's going one way and the other team's going the other way. So I'm not a big pinching guy. But I like the gap and strike. I like the surfing, where a defenseman skates forward with the player. Forward with the player. And I'm going to show you a few examples. So if you want to play this way, you better do a lot of drills to get your defenseman comfortable skating forward on angle. Essentially, they're skating forward towards our own net, but they're skating on angle and taking away ice. So I'm going to show you what I mean. Some teams call it surfing. We call it gap and strike. And I'll show you some gap and strike situations here. Okay, so we're in the zone. We're the red guys here in the zone. This is one of our defensemen that shrunk the zone. He's backing out. This is our other defenseman. So we're right on top of their wingers. Those wingers get the puck. They have no chance. They can flip it, and that's where I think more flips came into the game over the last year, because so many teams are gapping up on the forwards, so you got to flip it out and create a foot race. But our defense, when I watch video, I want our defense like moving up and close to these guys. Up and close to these guys. Then what we do is that the puck comes up this side of the ice, we give this defenseman a green light to come across and take him out. I'll show you what I mean here. So watch. Okay, so we're watching 21 here and 44. These are the guys on the blue line here. So 21 now senses that this guy here, one of the best players in the league, Dewar, it might get the puck. So he tightens up on him. When he gets it, strikes right there. Okay? This defenseman, what should he do? Fold to the middle. So when we use this and you're coming across, the other guy's got to fold to the middle. So, and I'm going to show you at the end what happens in the worst case scenario, because a lot of you are thinking, holy shit, I don't think I want to play like this. They fired across, they get a 2-on-1 to my other defenseman, and it's from the blue line. I'll show you what'll happen. So you have to practice this, and you have to get your D comfortable with it. I tell you, we have the puck 200 feet from our net. I don't want to go back and defend. I want to keep that puck alive if we can in the zone. So this is, picture in your mind, this is what we call gap and strike. Okay? So I'm going to show you some examples. Okay, here's a neutral zone one. This player, Henry Yokohara, played in Chicago this year as a 19-year-old first-round pick of Chicago. So he sees a Spokane player going that way. So now he strikes across, and the other guy folds. So you see a couple things happening here. Okay? One is he's skating forward, but he's not skating at him to make a hit. He's skating with him. He will eventually maybe make a hit on the boards, but he's skating with the guy on angle. This defenseman, what's he doing? Folding to the middle, directing traffic with his hand, and we better have good back check to help out. But if we're going to play like this, our back checkers have to be good to give our defense confidence to be able to play like this. So we want to get right up. Great stick. He gets a stick in the passing lane. Okay, I'll show you a couple other examples. Okay, same defenseman. So this player gets a puck. He skates forward on angle. On angle. Watch what he does with his stick, though. I'll give you a few more examples. You might like it, you might not like it. But you're going to see it a lot more in the game. So we're in the white again. Okay? So we're in. Now you're going to see 21 come across, and the guy makes the play. So he makes the play. So this is the worst case scenario. You're going to say, well, a good player, if they know you do that, they may make this play. Okay, they might. Okay? So this guy comes across, and they've got a really good player here who makes a play inside. So what happens? We're still in a pretty good spot. We're in a pretty good spot. This defenseman skating with speed. This defenseman now strikes across. I would like him to continue skating forward. I don't like that he turns and goes backwards. But I always tell our Ds, listen, you bail out and go backwards anytime you feel uncomfortable. I'm fine with that. But I'd like you to keep that gap as tight as you can. I'd like you to skate with him. I'd like you to try and gap and strike and take him out there. But Ludwig turns around and goes backwards. I would have liked him to continue. I think he's in a pretty good spot. Just slow down a step, have a good stick, and keep this guy the outside and give him nothing there. But that's a pretty good job. That's the worst case scenario. That's the worst case scenario. So What are the points that I want our guys to remember? And that's what you're going to ask your players when you get into November next year. Okay, describe our forechecking system. They go up to the board, they show the nice 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 3, whatever you do in the offensive zone, the neutral zone, whatever your forecheck happens to be. But what are the key things that the coaches are telling you to do in that system? What are the key things? And if they can remember those, then you've done a good job. You've done a really good job. If they can't remember them, go back to making sure with your staff, we've got to reinforce this more because they're not hearing it. And it's the old Claire Drake, great Claire Drake as a coach. He was one of my mentors when I came up watching Claire Drake at the University of Alberta. He often talked about players need to enjoy the agony of repetition. Players need to enjoy the agony of repetition. And sometimes as coaches, we want to be innovative, creative, but we've got to be repetitive. We've got to be repetitive. If we want good habits and we want to make sure that our players understand our principles, we've got to repeat them, repeat them, repeat them. What are the most important things on the forecheck? First man quick, get in there. Recover, pressure recover. Second man quick, gap and strike. Hunt from behind and strip pucks. Those are the key things I want to hear our players say in November of next year. They've got to understand those key things. If they understand those, then we can be a 1-2-2, we can be a 2-3, we can be anything in the offensive zone. We can have left wing lock. It doesn't matter what we're doing. As long as they understand the principles, we'll be able to execute. So here's a couple of attack principles, and Derek did a really good job on the offensive side there, and some of them will be some repeat things, but attack-wise, these are 5 things we emphasize on the attack. And in each of our systems play, we have 5 things that are really critical because I don't think you can have 10. You're going to have details below it, but if I want them to remember these 5 in each of the areas. You know, what are our 5 most important forecheck? What are our 5 most important backcheck? What are our 5 most important attack? So in the attack, here's the ones that we emphasize. Get through the neutral zone quick, first 2, and 1D in line with the puck. So we want to go fast. We're in red here. We want to go fast. Get the puck up, kick it up, get going fast, blue to blue. So from blue to blue, as fast as we can. That's what we want to do. We don't want to screw around in the neutral zone with a lot of fancy plays. We want to get to the blue line as fast as we can. That's the way we play. So you see here, this next one, we're in the defensive zone. We have the puck. Get the puck up quick and get going. Get going. Slash through the middle, slash to the logo, and get going. Right there. Now, with our defense, if you're going to play defense for us in Portland, as people know that have watched us play, you have to be able to do this. And so our rule with our defense is 1 defenseman has to be equal to the rush by center. So you got to get on your horse, and you've got to get going. 1 defenseman has to be equal to the rush by center. Then you decide, am I going to stay or am I going to pull back? What are you going to do at that time? And if you're going to stay, where are you in the attack? So we're watching this guy here, number 58. He's a defenseman here. He's on the breakout. So he moves the puck. So he moves it. We get it up to the winger right here. So he sees that winger has the puck. He knows that we need a defenseman equal to the rush by center. So he has to get going, full speed. So there, he gets the puck, and he's equal to the rush by center. So if I draw a line across there, I want 1 defenseman as close to that puck line as possible every single attack. And you're going to say, wow, that's way too risky for me. That's way too risky. I'd say, okay, maybe it is. Maybe it is too risky for you. But what will happen if you do this is you can pull back the reins at any time. But if you do not activate that D, and if he doesn't get used to in practice activating like that, you have no chance to have a defenseman in the rush. And you look at your rush and you say, geez, why aren't our defense in the rush? We talk about it all the time. We want our defense in the rush. We want our defense in the rush. Well, yeah, you may talk about it, but how do you practice it? And what are the keys? And as soon as we had the rule, we had one defenseman by set. Every drill we do, every single drill we do in practice, one defenseman has to be equal to the rush. Sometimes they don't make it, but they've got to go. They've got to go. And then they're reading the play along the way. How far do they go? We'll talk about that, but they've got to get going. So he's up in the rush. That's a perfect play by a young defenseman. Okay? This next clip here, we're watching 21 over here. On this side, so he's going to get the puck at the end of it. Right here, that's our defenseman, so he knows he's got to be up in the rush. So we've got possession. He gets to mid-ice. He's equal to the puck now. Cody Glass makes a great play here, cross ice to him. But where is the puck and where is our D? So you're going to say, hey, that's still a little bit too risky for me. But for me, my thinking is if we have them, we have them. If Cody Glass makes a bad play here or turns over the puck, he's got to pull back. He's got to use his speed to get back. And he's got a lot of speed because they were going at full speed. But he's also reading the play. And then he gets the puck and he scores a big goal against a tough team. So he jumps. You can see him watching the play the whole time. But I tell you, if you do not get them activated right away from the breakout pass, starting to move, one of your defense, there's no chance to get him in the rush. Zero chance. And you will not have an effective attack if you do not get your defense in the rush in today's game. And if he sees a guy like Cody Glass, he knows he can make that play. If it's a younger player in our team, he may be right now starting to pull back a little bit, like slowing up, looking, getting kind of nervous. He may be ready to pull back. But a Cody Glass, he knows he can make that play cross ice. Okay? Again, watching our defense here. So we're in defensive zone coverage. We're the white guys here in defensive zone coverage. Puck moves up. So now he's trying to join the rush. He's coming hard. He doesn't quite make it. Okay? But we've got a good look here. And we're going to talk about this diamond type look because I'm really big on a diamond look when you hit the line in the final part here. But we have our D trailing the rush there right to the net. 58 moves the puck. Okay, now he comes up and then he drives right through the middle of the ice on possession. So with our defenseman, our defense will say, okay, now I'm at center. What do I do now? Well, now you pick one of the 4 spots. We have 4 spots on the entry. You're one of the 4. You're the puck carrier, the mid-lane drive guy, you're the wide dot guy, you're the diamond guy. You're one of the 4 spots. You pick one of those spots and you go. Okay? So if you happen to be the second guy, you're the drive guy. If you happen to be the puck carrier, you're taking it across the line, you're making decisions with the puck. Points 3 and 4. Derek talked about this, grab the line. For me, I'm a real possession entry guy. I love possession entries. Power play possession entries, offensive zone possession entries. We will dump the puck 1% of the time. We'll chip the puck a fair amount if we have to, but I want to grab the line. I want to somehow grab that line and give our players the skills to grab that line and make plays. So we want to make plays. So we're a rush attack team. We talked about rush attack, forecheck teams. We're a rush attack team. That's where we're at. We want the puck on the rush, and we want to generate on the rush. We want to grab the line, and we have to have a mid-lane driver. But one thing with the mid-lane driver, I want to show you a small teaching point with the mid-lane driver. So first, we're looking here at 26, so he's got the puck for us. He's going to try to get this piece of the blue line. When I talk about grab the line, I just want our players to get that piece of the line. Just get the puck over the line, and then we'll let our attack happen. But grab the line. Get a piece of the line. So he just wants to get that puck across the line. Then we're going to give him a driver, we're going to give him a wide guy, and we're going to give him a diamond guy. Okay? So we say to the puck carriers, if you can cross the line with possession, we're going to give you 6 options. Pick the best one. So just get the puck over the line, and if you can do that, We'll give you 6 options. Pick the best one. Okay? So he comes across the line, chooses to lay the puck across the front of the net. Okay, here we get the puck in the middle. Ideally, it'd be great to carry pucks through the middle. It's really hard. And kick it wide. And now we want this player here to make a play with the puck in the corner of the line. So we get it out wide. Makes a great play inside. So we want to grab the line. So we want the puck in that top corner of the blue line. A lot of times, I tell our players, skate hard to the blue line and then slow down. Slow down and let the attack happen and pick your options. Obviously, if you've got a net drive, take the net drive. Or if you've got a circle, you can go to the circle and delay, take that. But more times than not, drive hard to the blue line, slow down, pull up, delay, let the attack happen and pick the best option from there. So Cody does a really good job here with this play, real good poise. But the one thing I wanted to show you here is our mid-lane drive guy. So our mid-lane drive guy, his teaching cues are how much pressure's on this guy. So if there's a lot of pressure, come really close. If he's not under a lot of pressure, go through the middle. But when you get into here, you either go to the net or you give a stick down by the goal line. And I found lately, because of the way teams cover, is the mid-lane drive guy going to the goal line is a really effective outlet. He doesn't use it here, but he could. Watch this, right here. See how Blichfeld went down in here and turned around? This play became a very good play for us. So the drive guy would drive through the middle and then reset to the goal line with a stick. And we could give it to him, and then he could hit guys in the slot, and it became really dangerous. So I'll show you a couple more on the mid-lane drive. So we've got the puck here. So this guy's got the puck. He's got to try and grab that piece of the blue line. What does this guy do? Drive. And if he sees that he's crowded, he's got to get close to him. What does this guy do? Dot. And our diamond guy's not up here yet. I'll talk about him in a second. So because we want to grab the line, a lot of teams, what are they going to do? They're going to shut you off at the line. They're going to squeeze you at the line. So what we do with the puck is we make a lot of, we call dot plays. For those of you that curl, we make like a light curling shot to the dot. Rather than dump it in, we make a dot play. So we tell this guy here, if you can't make the play under the stick, make the play to the dot. Just lay the puck to the dot. And this mid-lane drive guy will get it. So he's going to head to the dot and pick up that puck. So it's a dot play. It's a nice little soft play. When you're under pressure at the corner of the blue line, you know you're going to get hit. You're going to be squeezed off. Make a little play to the dot and allow that guy to pick it up on the dot. So he makes a little play to the dot, and we get the shot there. Okay, same thing here. Come in. He's got pressure. Now he makes the play through him, underneath the stick. And now the drive guy now, because most teams play it like this, he's got to be able to handle pressure, curl out, and make plays inside, because most teams will cover the drive guy like this. They'll bring their D hard on that drive guy. So you got to work on those types of skills with your players. Final drive guy one, right here, right through the middle, hit the puck. So your puck carrier has got to be really good at making plays at the corner of the line. Okay, on the attack here, so watch the drive guy again. He's looking for the puck. He's going to come in through here. This guy now has the freedom to cut off the drive. So what we give the puck carrier, or the guy on the outside the corner of the blue line, we give him 6 options. Okay? You can pass to the drive guy. You can do a shot pass. You can do a dot play. You can pass to the drive guy. Okay? You can cut off the drive. Okay? You can pass to the wide guy. You can pass to the diamond guy. Okay? Or you can lay the puck behind the net for a reset if you do not choose to shoot the puck. So those are your options. You have to pick the best one. So drills like the Boucher drill, or drills that implement attack options with pressure and force your players to think, are ones you need to do in practice if you want to play like this. You have to do a lot of drills where the players are pressured at the line. Okay. Final ones are the diamond look. I just want to talk about this for a second, is this diamond look on entries. Okay. The one thing as we attack, especially if we have our defense in the attack, is we do not want pucks transitioning back against us. So I found when we come in on the attack, we've got a guy who grabs the corner of the line. We've got our mid-lane drive guy. We've got our wide guy. And then sometimes we were getting our D up into the attack right here, and we were what I call flat, where everybody's flat. So I didn't like the look, and we weren't getting enough options off it. So what we tried to implement so the players could see a picture and understand the principle is create a diamond when you come in the zone. Create a diamond. Okay? So Glass makes a move there at the line, but the diamond look is this type of look. Okay? So puck carrier normally is going to be the wide guy. If you can carry it through the middle, you can carry it through the middle, but it doesn't happen very often. Our mid-lane drive guy is going to be the point at the head of the diamond. Our wide dot guy is going to be the other side, and our late guy there. Which guy's a defenseman? Any of those spots. It doesn't matter to me. It depends on where you are in the rush. But I want this diamond look so we have the most options available, and we also have a look where if we get in trouble, we've got one guy that can peel back. So on our entries, the principle is create a diamond look. Instead of saying don't be flat, we say create the diamond. It's easy to see. Every attack, it's easy to see. Okay, come up on the attack. This is our defenseman. He's the second guy, so he has to drive through. That's a forward. That's a forward. D, come in. And now what do we have? We've got our drive guy. Okay, good. We've got our puck carrier. We've got our diamond guy. We've got our wide guy. And there we look like that. Everybody shows sticks. I really like this. So we see a stick here. We see a stick here. We've got stick and shooting position there. We show a stick there. Really good. It's a diamond look, and it gives us the most options. It gives us the most options. And it puts us in a position where we're not going to get stung defensively. Same thing here. Okay, our D is a little bit tighter in the rush here, but we have the push-through guy. We have our wide guy. We have our forward there with the puck. And now we come into the seam. But it's still a good look. We're back enough that there's some separation. We aren't flat. And he just fails to execute. He gets a puck, but they get a stick on the puck right there. Okay, same thing here in transition. Drive. And then our diamond guy's a little bit tight, but he finds that hole in here. We've got the push-through guy and gets a puck right in the middle of the seam there. So what you need to do as a coach at this time of the year is, as I said, first culture. Second, your trademarks, your identity as a team. Then you get into your systems. And the most important part is, what are the skills and the principles that make up your systems? And that's going to dictate 80% of your practice and video work for the year is going to be on that. Don't get enamored by the system. Get into the details and get specific on the skills and the principles. So if you want to play in Portland, we list, if you're a defenseman in Portland, these are all the skills you have to play in Portland. So we have to teach them during the year. As a forward, a winger, you've got to be able to make plays. As a defenseman, you've got to be able to make plays on the breakout. So if you're going to play for us, you've got to be able to make plays. So passing and receiving is the number one skill. Passing and receiving. Passing, receiving, hockey IQ, those are really critical skills for us to have and develop. So you should list off, and these skills are just a sample, but you should list off what are the most important skills that your players need so that they can play your system. And then work on the skills and work on the principles so that you can have great execution on the system. Test your players, that we were talking about previously in communication. Test your players during the year. Give them a written test. Give them a verbal test. Have them in front of the group. Talk about the key principles and the key factors in each of the areas. And repeat them, repeat them, repeat them. The agony of repetition is so critical to a team's success. And finally, I'll just end with, make sure, and I think we all, as teams, as you're in your planning, and this is your planning phase, so it's great you're at a clinic like this, because you're going to get a lot of knowledge this weekend from the presenters. You're going to come away with some great ideas. You're going to interact with some phenomenal coaches. I know quite a few of the guys in the audience here that I know. We've got some great coaches that are here taking this over the weekend. You're going to interact. You're going to have a lot of ideas. Sit down with your staff and start to flush them out. But take time to make sure that the fun part of the year, the team building, is scripted as you look at your schedule and you look at how you're going to build things. We're even looking at this year, and I think when Jamie was in Portland, he did it, and I know Danny Flynn, who was with me last year. Build time in your player's schedule for games and fun times at practice, fun competitive times at practice, which they can look forward to. We all want to teach. We all have got so much to do, but make sure there's a time and a component. Maybe it's a certain day every week where you have a fun games day. From the Chip Kelly scenario I'll finish with, when I went to Chip Kelly's practice, he ran a 2-hour practice that day. 2 hours. And it was to music. The whole practice was to music. And the drills changed on a horn, a very loud horn, every 5 minutes. The drills changed. Every 5 minutes on a horn. And I was floored. I couldn't believe it. How this practice went bang, 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 bang. So when I came back to Portland, we still, till today, we run a music practice. It's once every 2 weeks we run a music practice. So there's no coaches' voices. The players pick the music. It's 1 hour from start to finish, and there's no instruction. We do drills that we know, and it's 1 hour. And the players often say it's the most fun, but it's one of the toughest practices they've ever had. And it's something that you can take from one sport to the other. But make sure the fun component is in there and build it in every year, because it makes your year and it makes the player's year. No matter what's happening on or off the ice, you build in those team-building components and skates like we had here in Jasper, and those are things they're going to remember forever. So enjoy the weekend. Hopefully, I know you got a lot out of the previous presentations. Hopefully, you'll get something out of this one here to take with you. Spend some time with your coaching staff over the next month as you head into your season, scripting your culture. All the best.